Hello there, Libra, Libra Rising, and Libra Moon people. This is your monthly astrological horoscope for the month of August 2017. And a quick reminder for all of you out there, I'm going to be doing a special video later on this week on the Uranus retrograde. It's actually a very special collective shift energy because it's actually the last retrograde where Uranus is fully committed to Aries for quite some time. So stay tuned for that. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me or get a copy of the Tarot Home Study course, you can always go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So what is going on with this month? Well, we've got some leftover energies from July that are also going to be fairly predominant this month, but also working very, very well for you. We've got Venus in Cancer from the start of the month going all the way up until the 26th in your 10th house of career. And with Venus in your career sector, you know, again, Venus always tends to put us as sort of the popularity contest winner when it's in a professional setting. Venus in the 10th house tends to give us opportunities to gain a lot of favor with influential people. We may be actually noticing that mentors, authority figures are actually giving us a lot of special treatment, a lot of special assignments, and the opportunity to actually move up in our career or in our office or in our workspace or in our business has never been easier. The nice thing about Venus in the 10th house for everybody as well is that, again, much like Venus in the earned income sector, there's an opportunity for generating easy money. And now this could be easy money in terms of things that are maybe a bit overpaid for what you would be doing, possibly getting money coming to you as an incentive, or possibly even an opportunity for a bonus. With Venus is in the 10th house, people are also much more inclined to listen to you, so you want to pay attention. Are you thinking about negotiating something, negotiating a raise, negotiating a change in schedule, or a change in title or status and role? This is the kind of month to do it if you're trying to, you know, kind of get those conversations going, because people are a lot more receptive to the people with the Venus in the 10th house, and that is you. We also have Mars in your 11th house of friendships and social networking, Leo, all month long. And when Mars is in our 11th house, you can definitely count on the cream of the crop starting to rise, when and be seen and noticed more in your friendship circles. Okay, we're cutting the wheat from the chaff. This is the month where your friends are going out of their way to work with you and work for you. This is definitely a strong brotherhood and sisterhood type of energy. It does actually bring you into contact with much higher caliber people, people who are a lot more emotionally available and socially available. And Mars in the 11th house is like, we need to have tight bonds, and we're also going to be needing to be able to work for each other and be there to take care of each other. You're going to be noticing your friends really hitting the pavement, doing a lot of work on your behalf. There may even be some opportunities for expanding into more competitive, creative circles for those of you who are artists, those of you who are performers, those of you who are trying to maybe network in that sense and get your product or get whatever you're creating seen. Mars in the 11th is doing that for you. We also see a lot of energy coming from the masculine to actually help you achieve some kind of major bucket list goal or dream this month. So there could be somebody, most likely a male friend of yours, somebody very, very close, who is basically helping you scratch a list off your bucket list if you feel like you have the time and the energy to invest there. On the 7th of the month, we've got a full moon lunar eclipse in Aquarius in your 5th house of love, romance, and your relationships with your children. And remember, lunar eclipses are the ones that bring endings. Sometimes people get a little confused. They assume all eclipses mean endings or all eclipses mean beginnings. No, lunar eclipses are the endings and solar eclipses are the beginnings. And this eclipse, you know, is starting a bit of a window period for everyone. Remember, eclipses don't just happen on the day. They have their big push, their big jolt. You'll probably be feeling this between the 7th and the 14th of the month. But that energy lingers in its prime up until about November of this year. And it's definitely an opportunity to graduate or evolve into an opportunity to have a new relationship or a new type of relationship if you're already in one that is actually, I guess you could say, of a higher vibe, or something a lot more functional or a lot more desirable and mutually fulfilling than what we had prior. Now, you could have had a perfectly good relationship, and this is only going to make it better, but there may be some kind of test involved. Eclipses do bring an end to an era. Now, this is one of those eclipses, though, that does challenge, the type of relationship that we have, okay? If there's a lot of chaos, if things have been very, very stressful, on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, this may push us into an off and replace the person that we would be off with somebody else within that time period. That being said, if things have been going really, really well, there is a step up in the evolution to this connection. When it comes to our relationships with our children, this energy could also talk about a need to confront a long-standing issue that is either gone unspoken or has gone unnoticed as it comes to a relationship that we have with one of our kids. And this may not necessarily be something one or both of you is comfortable addressing, but the truth will out, and it will be better having that elephant in the room brought to everyone's attention. On the 12th, we do have Mercury turning retrograde in Virgo, in your 12th house of your past, your privacy, and your hidden zone. And it looks to me like with Mercury retrograde, a lot of secrets will be coming out to you this month, especially between the 12th and the 31st of the month. When people start confiding in you, you start opening up about secrets, things that you've been holding back. That's fantastic. And this is one of the more benign places to have a Mercury retrograde. However, it's also very important to pay attention to where we may not necessarily be doing the best we can and to be careful with other people's confidence and not to betray other people's confidence. The reason that's a big deal is because with Mercury retrograde in the 12th house, sometimes we say too much. And maybe it was something that was not meant to be public knowledge. So this week, be careful about giving too much information away, especially if it's not yours to give away. However, this can be a wonderful opportunity for building trust and also getting information in situations, conversations going that have been, kept again quiet and under wraps for way too long. So you got to take the good with the bad. On the 21st of the month, we have our solar eclipse, new moon. Okay, solar eclipse, that's the new beginnings. All right, and this is happening in your 11th house of friendships and social networking. And it does look like a lot of you Libra people are going to be in a brand new social support system that will be growing and developing quite strongly and starting to proliferate in a very, very healthy way, very, very, very positive way for you as we get into again that August through about mid to late November period. Some of you may be actually growing a whole new social circle around you. There may be a whole new group, or again, an opportunity to actually even do something that could be considered humanitarian, or maybe even a big life goal relating to this new group or relating into this new opportunity. The solar eclipse does usually also, especially if it's in a very public place, the 11th house, 3rd house, 9th house, can also garner us a bit of fame and popularity. Some of you may end up in the papers. Some of you may actually get a little shot on, TV or the radio or something. There's a great deal of publicity coming from this energy as well, and it could be breaking us out of a very old shell. That was not intended to rhyme, but there you go. On the 22nd of the month, we do have the sun moving into Virgo, into your past, your privacy, and your hidden zone. And where the sun goes, so does healing, restoration, recuperation, as well as, a spotlight to get more out of that energy. And when the sun goes into our 12th house, and for you it'll be there from about the 22nd of August through about the end of the 3rd week of September, it's going to be time to do some serious work on cleansing old issues, healing old issues that are lingering from the past. Whether it's unfinished business with people or just emotional and psychological clouds that seem to be heavily influencing us in the present day. The sun can indicate opportunities for patching up and for reunions as well, especially after the 31st, we'll get there. But this is also a good time for you to get a highlight on what in the subconscious is actually kind of running out the decision-making processes that we have going on right now. The Sun in the 12th can also be a wonderful time for those of you looking to, again, get some kind of support, some kind of attention to a personal, I guess you could say a personal craft, almost like, it's like nourishing your baby, so to speak, during this time. So it's actually going to be very, very nice for a lot of you. On the 25th, we've got Saturn turning direct in your 3rd house of communications, pacts, and promises. And while Saturn has been retrograde here for a good few months, Saturn in the 3rd house, some signs are not having it as hard as others. It's in what's considered a cadent house, which means it's a house of low impact, it's very situational. So Saturn being here, it's kind of like, is it not a bad thing? It all depends. But for you, with Saturn retrograde, you've been noticing it's been very easy for you to get out, to slip out of a lot of paperwork, out of a lot of binding contracts, binding obligations and commitments. The last few months, if you've been needing to get away from things that have been, again, binding you up, holding you still, keeping you from moving forward, getting more flexible. But Saturn going direct is talking about the main lesson of Saturn being there in the first place. Now remember, Saturn's only going to be in this area of your chart up until December, so we're at the last legs of that Saturn and Sag journey. And it's talking about promises that we can keep versus promises we can't keep, which ones we should make, which ones we should not. Saturn in the 3rd house challenges our communication skills. It's asking for more crystallized communication. It's asking for us to be more clear-cut and to stand by our word. In the very beginnings of this, 2014, a lot of Libra people were having a lot of serious problems with not speaking up, possibly being in situations where they would allow something to happen without putting an input and then, have to struggle to find a way to get out of it. We're coming to the full circle of that for the next few months, so just be prepared. You are going to be able to, to set up new rules and boundaries and ground rules around yourself, and, again, only be held to the oaths and promises you meant to make. On the 26th, we do have Venus moving into Leo, into the 11th house of friendships and social networking, and this is going to be wonderful for love. A lot of people, may have been feeling a little bit worried about this eclipse in Aquarius and what that was going to do. Well, at the end of the month, Venus going into Leo is going to connect you with love opportunities, either among your friends, through new friends, or even a brand new social group. There is an opportunity between the 26th and about the end of the 2nd week of September to even be set up by a friend, and it may actually be something you want to entertain. Finally, on the 31st, we've got Mercury retrograding back into your 11th house of friendships and social networking, and again, a largely benign aspect. So again, a lot of you Libras get off scot-free this month for this retrograde. And with Mercury going retrograde into the 11th house, it's more of a September energy, to be frank, but it is relevant at the end of the month. A lot of you are going to be going through some reunions, having some reunions with old friends, old platonic connections, not romantic connections, but platonic connections. People that we knew from high school, college, people we haven't spoken to in years and ages. Have we, is there an opportunity to reconnect with them? Is there an opportunity to, again, get back in touch with the strong, capable energies, the strong and highly capable energies? That's what that Mars in the 11th house is doing, getting us away from the people that can't match what we do in terms of intensity, in terms of energy, in terms of input, and get closer to the people. And there may be some people you left in the past that, are meant to come back, either for a short while or, indefinitely. So that is your horoscope, Libra. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.